My name is Holly, and I am a drunk. I'm an addict, and I'm a fuck up, and I'm self-centered, and I'm a basket case. I have a panic disorder. I have anxiety. I have low self-esteem, and you would never know it if you ever met me. You would never know it. I hide it very, very well. Um, yeah, yeah. It's so big. Um, and I never, this was never the path that I chose for myself. If you would have told me, when I was a teenager, hey, this is where you're going to be when you're, in your 40s, I would have, laughed in your face, or I probably would have cried. I'm just one of those people where I came from a single parent home. My father, I would visit on the weekends. It was a very toxic environment. I lived in New York. I was born and bred in New York. I had the evil stepmother, and I hate to say that, but it's true. In my mind, she was. I hold my mother in very high regard. She was my protector. And when I was at my father's house, am I looking here or am I looking over here?
Look wherever you want.
Okay. So, um, and my big thing, growing up is I was always unsafe when I was at my father's house. I was always unsafe. And my stepmother, really, she really propelled that, in terms of just putting me, in unsafe situations. She put a drink in my hand at 10. It was a White Russian, because she said it tasted like chocolate milk and it was sweet. And I loved it. I loved the way it made me feel. I was so uncomfortable when I was there. And that made me feel comfortable. It made me feel like I could handle anything. I have an older sister who would be with me. So she was my partner in crime dealing with this. She's older than me. So at a very young age, I was just shown a life that a 10-year-old shouldn't have been shown, and doing, smoking pot with her. Then it graduated to smoking pot. She would put Captain Morgan's in the bong because it would taste sweet. Like, this whole thing was just so fucked up. Now, the more I think about it and the more that I talk about it. But the big thing was just like, I just needed to feel safe. And the alcohol and the drugs gave me that comfort, gave me that coat, that jacket to wear every time, that armor. And thankfully, my mother decided to move us away from New York. So I was away from that environment, because if I kept down that road, there's no telling. I'd probably be dead. So, fast forward, all of these like behaviors and all of these, these things that were ingrained in my brain and my heart and my soul from such a young age, carried through to my adulthood, to when I did reach an older age, because I partied my ass off. I mean, 20s, 30s, shit. I loved my Coke. I loved my booze. I'm a vodka drinker. It would always be my boyfriend. My boyfriend was my vodka. We broke up when I would get too drunk and he would make me throw up the next day. Stoli and I are breaking up. But yeah, it was the behaviors, though. It was the feeling. It was, my little confidence pill. It was my little thing that made me feel like I was on top of the world, that I could do anything. It was my coping mechanism, for when I felt sad, when I felt happy. And then finally, when the drink really and the drugs really got me down, they sent me to the hospital. And that was probably, that was my bottom, when I was at the hospital and had the seizure and all this shit. And, I needed to change. I was like, I remember telling people, I'm never going to drink again. I'm never going to drink again. And I was good. I was good for about 3 months. But I didn't follow any kind of program. I didn't follow any kind of, no spiritual change, nothing. There was nothing in my life about me that I changed. I tried to go to therapy. I went to therapy, and I just was not connected with it. I just, and then I relapsed. I started drinking again, and it took me down like that. Like in a week, I had my head back in a pile of Coke. I had my handle of vodka in my freezer. And because, as I mentioned earlier, I am a panic person. I panic, and it was, it took me out. It took me out, and so I finally realized that without the drink, without the drugs, I was completely raw. I was completely lost. I was completely unguided. I didn't know what the hell to do. I did, join a fellowship. I did get involved in that. And then I started to see, okay, we're going to guide you. We're going to help you. And this whole talk about higher power and this whole talk about spirituality, I was like, that's bullshit, because I don't believe I'm worthy of a power that's going to want to protect me, wants the best for me. That made absolutely no fucking sense. And I was not good enough for that. Why the hell would that? I mean, for a child that's growing up and adults are putting that child in unsafe situations, why the fuck is something that I can't see, touch, feel, taste, smell, how is that thing going to want the best for me? It made no sense to me. And how is that thing going to protect me? And I just didn't get it. And then shit started to happen. These God shots started to happen. And these moments where I was like, I couldn't explain it. I was like, whoa, wait, what was that? And because I'm a panic person, because I'm a control freak, I wanted to figure out what it was. How did that happen? Why did that happen? How do I duplicate it? How do I make it happen again? And that's just not the way that it works with my spirituality. I think spirituality for me in this journey is very personal. Don't ever tell me what your God is and what my God is and how I should live and how I should pray. Don't ever tell me that, man, because I will go nuts. Because to me, my spiritual journey is mine, and it's for me to define, and it's for me to feel. And I find that in my spiritual journey, those experiences that I have cannot be defined. I don't have a name for these feelings I feel. I don't have I don't have a name for my higher power. It just is. Like this just is. And I needed those moments. I don't see it all the time. I'm not clear all the time because I'm a stubborn motherfucker. And some days I'm like, no, I want to be pissed off. I want to wake up. I want to say, fuck the world. I want to say, I don't care, and I want to be left alone, and then it's like, I get this little nudge about something, and then I talk to somebody, or somebody needs me, or somebody, needs my advice about something, and I snap out of it, and it's like, okay, there it is, and then I become in touch with my spiritual connection. Then it gets, okay, now stop being stupid, Holly, come on, let's get back into it. And then that connection is back again, because when I'm disconnected, that's when I become an addict again. That's when I become an alcoholic again. But as long as I stay connected, and I do pray, I pray every morning. Do I pay attention to what I'm praying? Some mornings, no. Some mornings, yes. Some mornings I'm like, yes, God, please, shit, fuck. And other times I'm just like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I wish the best for everybody. Okay. And I don't try to search for it anymore. I don't try to search for my spirituality anymore. I don't try to find out where it is. Because that's not the way it works for me. That's not the way it works. It just is. And I have to be patient with that. And I have to trust that, yes, I may be worth it. I may be worth it. It may be I might be worth this, this life that I have now. And, but it's work. I have to stay in the present moment. And it's hard for somebody like me because I'm a control freak. I want to know the end of the story. I want to know how it ends. I want to know the end of the joke. I want to know, and that's just not the way my life is right now. It can't be that way. Because there's stuff out there that I don't know and I can't explain, and I don't know how to deal with it. But as long as I'm sober and I don't drink and I don't do drugs, I really believe that I'm going to be okay. That everything will work out. It's just I got to be patient. So I was kind of all over the place, but I think is that about. I didn't time myself. I totally forgot to turn my thing off.